Welcome back to this week's recording. Today is the 24th of June, and the week started on the 19th of June. And I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna show you how I entered the market, um, where I came out, and how I should have played it out. Right now, I'm trying to build a small account, so I'm a little emotional about the build. I'm trying not to lose much, trying to manage my account very properly. And so, for a lot of it, it's a little scary to say the least, because you want to make sure that you're keeping this up. But um, I need to do my best to not be that emotional about it, and trust my analysis and my strategy. Losses will happen; it's inevitable. It's a part of the game. But it also means that wins are also possible, and that is also a part of the game. So if my analysis is correct and I've actually found my edge, I should really trust it. But anyways, let's jump into it. So the market was on a strong bear run for a while. This is last week or for the last 2 weeks, I believe. A strong bear run. It pulled back. All right, let me do it here. Went up, tested this area, and then broke below. Right. So I'm still expecting a bearish move. So after it broke this low here, the close of this low here, I am looking for a pullback to continue the bearish move. And if you look very, very carefully, this looks like a head and shoulders. This is left shoulder, head, and of course, we're now looking for the right shoulder to be formed. When the right shoulder form, we're looking for a continuation down to at least where the origin of the move. Right? So something along that line. Now, when the market opened here, of course, as I said, I'm looking for a clue, an idea, something to say that the market is now ready to move. Right? So my first indication was at the forming of this week. When I saw that it came up, my apologies, let's go back a bit. How I thought of this week, outside of it testing this resistance, this daily resistance, because I'm looking for a pullback, I also use the Fibonacci tool. And I drew the Fibonacci on the H4 because structure looked cleaner on the H4. Structure looked cleaner on the H4. So having looked cleaner on the H4, I drew my Fibonacci retracement tool here, and then I watched for the pullback, and I saw that it came up and it was beginning to touch the 61.8 retracement. So at this point in time, my next indication is to go and look on my H1, which is where I look for mainly for my entries. Now, when I look at the H1, I saw this um, bearish candle. It's not enough for me to call it a pin bar, but this bearish candle, this doji, and then an engulfing. This pattern right here is an engulfing variation. And it's an engulfing variation that happened at the retracement area. So that is my first indication that I should be taking the trade. So of course I entered here, which is exactly what I did. I entered right here. Having entered here, um, oops, having entered right here, right at the close of this candle, I got in when this one was being formed. As you can see, it's a little below. And the intention then, after getting it here, was to ride it down at least, at the very least, to this area, or as indicated, to the H4 demand zone that would have been formed, because I'm expecting it to break this part of the right shoulder being formed. I'm expecting it to break it because, of course, it's a head and it's seeming like a head and shoulders pattern at this point in time. Having broken it, the next thing would have then been to ride it down to this area, and that would have been 100 pips. Now, looking at this carefully, of course, I would have gotten it, and I would have gotten several entries in, so we're going to talk about that. Having done this here, strong bearish candle started pulling back a bit, and on a smaller time frame, this would have been considered uh, um, on a smaller time frame, that would have been this area right here would have been considered a consolidation area, and you can see that this is a mini resistance, mini support. So something to note. So the market came. So it's not a structural support, meaning it's forming a high or a low, but it's still structural in that it's forming a support resistance in this consolidation on a smaller time frame. The market broke through this consolidation, came back, tested the consolidation again, and gave. And let me pull this back a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Tested the consolidation again and gave a bearish engulfing candle right in the same consolidation era, which of course for me is amazing. Let me bring this across a bit so you can see. So this would have been my point of second entry, right? I'm just gonna make a note of that to show you how I could have bettered my trades this week. And my stop loss is at the same area. This would have been my point of second entry. I'm just making it smaller so we can see everything, right? Then it would have pulled back, came back up, and yes, it gave a strong engulfing, but because this is a mini support resistance here, concerned but not too concerned because I am not gonna be concerned unless it breaks the this high. If it breaks this high, then I'll say okay fine, because all of this right here is essentially consolidation. All of this is consolidation. The market is consolidating in this area. When the market came back up and gave another strong engulfing candle, as it did here, this would have been my third entry. And that entry would have happened pretty much close to the same area here. And again, the idea would have been to ride it all the way down. Now, though this is consolidation, it formed a support right here. Having formed a support and broken through that support, let me use something else. Broken through that support, I was immensely happy. So this should have been three trades, one, two, three, running very nicely. Then it came back, tested that support, right? Did not give an engulfing, so I'm not entering. I'm watching the market carefully. Came back again, right? This is a mini consolidation again on a smaller time frame. Can probably jump into this a little better so we could see how we could take better entries. But for a later time, probably not right now. This is a nice engulfing candle, a strong engulfing candle, a small wick, but not a big wick for me to say, it's equal wick to the stop, so I'm not too concerned. So at this point, I'd have taken another entry. I did go on the smaller, as you can see here, this is a 10 pip stop. I did go on the smaller time frame, did some analysis there, because if this is consolidation, once it breaks out of this consolidation, there's an opportunity to re-enter once it retests that consolidation area. And that's exactly what I did on the smaller time frame and took this entry. So this is a perfect entry as well, a very clean, nice entry. But let's say I took it at the H1, which should have been right here. Whoops. Let's say I took it at the H1, which I could have here. My stop loss would have had to be up here, right? And again, the idea would have been to ride it down all the way to here. And essentially, that would have been my trade because it did came and it did touch, and I was very happy. Very, 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 very happy. This area too that is on the H4 coincides with this very, very, very strong support area. So you're looking for it. The idea is because this is a strong support, a very strong support, as you can see. It hit it the last time and just rallied all the way up. Came back down, rallied all the way up. I am thinking at this point, my analysis is once it comes here, it's not gonna stay, or it may not stay. So the idea is to trade it like that, yeah. So that would have been four entries that I could have taken. Let me just make sure I'm making the 274, making sure that all of them are the same. Is this it? Let's double check. Profit is 722. 722. Yeah. So that would have been it. And this would have been in terms of the number of pips for this week. That would have been 106.7 plus 95.1 plus 96 plus 59.1. Beautiful 356.9 pips for the week. Wonderful, wonderful. And if I had used a standard lot, this would have been $3,000. I mean, give or take, but you know what I mean when I say $3,000. It's just a beautiful trade. Like I couldn't see why. I can't see why. This should have been a beautiful, beautiful week. But again, and these are all entries that I got, with the exception of these two. I did get this one. I got this. No, with the exception of one. I got this trade, came out. I got this one too, on a smaller time frame, came out, and I got this one here, came out. Now, having done those four trades, here comes the opportunity to enter the bullish move that, of course, I am foreseeing, right? So let me close out these, take off that. I can remove that. Don't need that right now. All right. So, where do I take this from? Let's remove this too. When I look at the H4, I see that this is a nice flag pattern, right? Flag is one, two, three. It broke the flag. It broke the tail. I don't know what you call this, and started forming on the inside. Now, this one didn't go all the way up, but nonetheless, and then it started to do this nice consolidation, right? This is now cue for us to start thinking of how to, especially it hit the H4 demand zone. After hitting this demand area right here, I'm now really, really thinking of how can I benefit from this bullish run that is possible. Very, very, very possible. Very, 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 very possible. Right? So here's what I did get an entry actually. I took it off earlier because I was fearful. But I'll tell you how. I'll tell you what happened. I was actually waiting for this candle and I saw it, but I didn't play it out. I'll show you why. So the market came down, touched here, pushed up, came back and tested. Tested but did not break below this area. This wick, this nice doji or spinning top, sorry. This nice spinning top was a beautiful spinning top. Going on the where did I take it? Going on the M5, when the market pulled back, and you're gonna have to look very carefully, right? The market did something that I think was brilliant, 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 brilliant. And structure is structure everywhere, patterns are patterns everywhere. Came down, pulled up, pulled back. This is now a double bottom, not the cleanest one, because I mean, well, I can fix it better. And then rode all the way up, right? So you can see it never really broke. Where's the low? It never really broke below this area, any at all. Having not broken below it, because I'm expecting it and I'm looking for it, at this pin bar, which closed right here, would have been the perfect entry. Boom. Smaller time frame entry. And this would have been six pips, thereabout 6 pips. Clean, 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 clean. Perfect. Like I saw it. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to believe me, but I did see it. Again, because of when I saw the trade, I decided to stay out. So I didn't take it here. Right? Of course, it is still inside of the flag pattern being formed. Right? So I was waiting. I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I'll remove this for now. Um, I'll put it back after. So saw this one here and I was like, wow, this has been awesome. My exit would have probably been here, given that it's Friday. This is probably where I would have taken my exits, right at this um, top of this area, which is, if you look to the left, it is strong resistance, strong support. Sorry, that became resistance, and that's where I would have exited. Truth be told, but anyways, where was I? No, if you look and you have to eyeball this now, eyeball this very carefully. When the right, so when the market broke through here, which, and I mean, I don't want to go on the smaller time frame at this one, but you're gonna have to see it. You can see that this became a mini support resistance. It broke here as resistance, came back up, tested it, broke up, tested it again. When it tested it with this nice, nice, nice pin bar, this would have been a great next entry. And again, you could have gone on a smaller time frame to get a better entry, but that's fine. This would have been a great next entry. Great, great, great next entry. And then of course ride it. And this is a 1 to 2, so that's still very good for me. Still very, very, very good for me. And that would have been perfect. Two very wonderful trades for the week. Very, very, very wonderful trades for the week. I would have been immensely happy. And so if I added those to this to what this would have been, this is 63.5 plus whoops plus 63.5, and then this would have been 38.4. That's 458 pips for the week. This should have been beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I would have been happy. Wouldn't you? I would have been happy. Yeah, so if I'd used one lot, this would have been $4,588, I believe, unless my math is off. Um, Again, awesome, 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 awesome. So something to learn from. But again, I'm building back my confidence. I had a little rough patch, but that's fine. So my outlook for this week though is that having broken through this consolidation that took place on the H1 and also on the H4, if you look on the H4, you can see this nice consolidation pattern here. Breaking out of this flag. This is very, very, very pretty. My hope, or not my hope, what I'm looking for is for the market, which is what I was waiting for this to make my actual entry. I got one small entry, but I came out because I never liked. This is a little risky because it could still pull back a bit. It could pull back to here, especially as a strong pullback and then continue. But of course, I would have had my stop loss. But again, because I'm trying to build this small account, I'm in the mode of profit preservation. So what I made is add some more money, but it is what it is at this point in time. Or I just need to trust myself, as I believe we all should do. So what I am looking for now, let me take this off, is having broken through this consolidation, one of two things. It pulls back to here, and then I ride it all the way up. What does this look like? Let's see. Yeah, it pulls back to there. We could do the Fibonacci from here because the start of the bull run again. This is consolidation, so I wouldn't count it. And so I've been the 50, so I'm actually, oh, that's why I drew the 61 there. So I would look for it to pull back all the way here. I would consider this 50 only for one reason, which is why you have to be you have to understand your Fibonacci in a way to know when to use it, when not to use it. In this case, if I use the Fibonacci tool, if I use the Fibonacci tool and there's a 50% area that is clean for me, for it to be an entry area, in this case, is because it will act as a support. So So if at the 50% you can find a support at that 50 or right about that 50, then I'll consider that 50 as a strong pullback area. If not, then it is at the 61.8 and I'm perfect with that. So what I'm looking for at this point in time is for the market to pull back, and then I'll ride it all the way up to the negative 61.8, which in this case is my only Fibon. Oh, whoops. Take off this one. I'll ride it up to the negative 61.8 or the negative 27. So it may be the negative 27, given that this negative 27 also aligns with this area. Or because I don't necessarily set take profits, I normally allow it to run and I use a chart to tell me when to exit. And whenever I exit, I just take my win or my L and call it a day. But in this case, maybe the 61.8, and if it does, then I would also, there are a lot of opportunities that it could pull back again to the same area, and of course, you ride it all the way up. I mean, this is typical market movement. This is a trend. This is a nice, very, very clean trend line. Very, very, very clean. And again, if you wanted to play it out, you'd wait for the pullback. Very, very, very nice, right at the same area, and you ride it all the way up again. And I mean, I'm not making this up. I'm showing you on the chart. So, um, that's good, which is essentially what happened here. It's literally what happened here for the H4. Oops. Or I can take this off for now too. The market came back and tested this area. Literally. You can see it. If I bring this back all the way here, the market came back and tested this area. Wasn't able to fully break through. This is a nice pin bar. And then came and kept on testing it until it rallied down. And of course, this flag again is just a very pretty flag. I'm really enjoying this flag. But yeah, that's my outlook for next week. Let's see if it plays out. And this is fun. It's really, 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 really fun. I'm taking off some of these things so, chart looks a little cleaner. I don't need them anymore. But yeah, so that's what we're looking for next week. And again, this is very, very nice. I'm going to show you one more time. I'm looking for the market to come back either here or here. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for the market to come back to this zone. Let's call it this zone. Right? And when if it comes back to this zone, and I'll rally it all the way up. That's what I'm looking for. The other thing that it actually could do is just move up, keep moving up, and then do a pullback to here. Should also be nice. It wouldn't be bad. So the idea is just to know exactly, just watch the market carefully in this case. But yeah, that's it. That's it. I hope this surely helped me. And if you actually do watch this, it will help you too. Um, trading is not trading is simple. Trading is hard work, but trading is simple. It requires a lot of studying and practicing and getting your emotions in check, but it's all possible. But I'm happy with this week. Getting back in the groove, and let's see how next week goes. I'll definitely try my best to put out something so we can see it. I'm gonna keep these on because I don't see it well. I'm gonna do my analysis and I may mark up the chart a different way, but right now, as I can see, this may stay. Let's add one more. This is the H1? Hmm, I didn't see that before. Okay, and that line also coincides with this area. How wonderful! That's interesting. Yeah. All right. Let's see how it goes. It's gonna be a good week. I'm excited. Um, yeah, I'm excited. All right. Let's get it done. Let's get it done.